In all of these situations, it's only the artist that's losing. Somebody makes big money. When these rappers get killed, not incidental.
It's crazy to say, but Nicki Minaj has been a target again at her own home. The news just broke out about this man that decided to trespass onto her property.
So when the rappers say these, that you've been doing these things to them, they're crazy and they're this and they're that.
Because what Nicki Minaj is alluding to with Roc Nation, I have seen disturbing patterns and trends as well. I've seen that they use bully tactics to silence people.
This situation surrounding Nicki Minaj has become genuinely alarming, yet mainstream outlets remain silent because she's been essentially blacklisted after her political involvement. This transcends partisan politics. We're talking about Nicki allegedly being pursued by Jay-Z and Roc Nation in what appears to be an effort to prevent her from revealing their questionable practices and hidden dealings. Over the years, Nicki has experienced multiple swatting incidents where armed officers arrived at her residence, and there were even allegations regarding her treatment of her child. Consider the tragic 2021 hit-and-run death of Nicki's father in Long Island. The driver responsible received merely 12 months incarceration for killing an elderly man and abandoning him without attempting assistance or emergency notification. You don't need to be a devoted fan to recognize she's being pursued by someone with considerable influence. While skeptics might dismiss these events as random occurrences, at what point does the accumulation of strange incidents reveal an undeniable pattern? The entertainment world operates essentially like organized crime. Katt Williams has explicitly cautioned us about these dynamics. Katt maintains that nothing in this business happens accidentally. Every scandal and tragedy has orchestrators behind the scenes manipulating outcomes.
I'm saying that everything that happens in a business that's based off of pretend, that seems like a setup is. In business, nothing is coincidental, or you will be hearing who's losing money. In all of these situations, it's only the artist that's losing. Somebody makes big money. When these rappers get killed, not incidental. Somebody made $100 million and now don't have to talk to that artist or none of their crew, don't have to validate none of their contracts. Now only got to deal with the mama, only got to see her once a year, and it's over. And the money goes up and up and up. So they this $20 million guy, but they reaped $60 million in benefits.
Wow. Those orchestrators often recruit people from your own community to execute their plans. Incidentally, Katt has already stood beside Nicki on at least one controversial topic: the push for transgender acceptance in the entertainment world. Nicki has consistently spoken against allowing minors to undergo gender reassignment procedures. This trend of celebrities declaring their children transgender before adolescence has become increasingly visible in Hollywood circles.
I personally don't have an issue with the trans part of the LGBT at all. I am the biggest advocate for adults being able to do whatever the heck they want to do. They're adults. I don't care. I only mentioned something because when it comes to children, I wouldn't even allow my 17-year-old daughter to get breast implants. Neither, like, and most 99% of the parents would not let their 17-year-old get breast implants. So if you wouldn't let a child get breast implants, you're not going to want them to have any kind of surgery, because we all know the brain is not developed. And we've heard about 19 times more likely to commit suicide. What more do you need to know? That a child is 19 times more likely to commit suicide if they have a surgery?
Katt Williams has gone considerably further with his claims, alleging this Hollywood pattern represents not coincidence, but rather a form of ritualistic sacrifice and industry initiation.
20 years ago, I knew that transgenders was going to be a thing. It wasn't because I had seen that word transgender was Baphomet, the transgender.
Similar to Nicki, Katt has faced repeated targeting through seemingly arbitrary arrests, though authorities never successfully prosecuted him because evidence was insufficient. Attempts were even made to remove his children from his custody.
Because here's the whole thing. You gonna charge me with child endangerment? After I adopted 7 children and had them for 14 years in this state? Really? You coming after my kids now? Because it was already a witch hunt. Now you want my babies?
Both Katt and Nicki have been branded as mentally unstable individuals, struggling with substance abuse. Their parallel experiences explain why Katt would stand with Nicki despite potential political disagreements between them. Let's examine Nicki's most recent targeting incident and why Katt suspects this wasn't coincidental. April 1st brought the arrest of Leland Adams at Nicki Minaj's Calabasas residence after surveillance captured him roaming her grounds, not lingering near the entrance or walking the public sidewalk, but actually trespassing inside the property boundaries. When security personnel ordered his departure, he refused compliance, prompting them to physically restrain him until sheriff's deputies responded. Remarkably, this intrusion occurred on the exact date Nicki planned to release her latest album, but the strangeness intensifies from there. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department verified this wasn't Adams' initial Calabasas area incident. He'd been detained just 5 days prior, then released. Almost immediately after his release, he reappeared and violated Nicki's property. Most disturbing is that this represents merely the latest occurrence in an extensive series of incidents targeting Nicki at her home. Nicki attributes all this to her ongoing conflict with Roc Nation. This extends beyond typical industry rivalry. The roots run deep and center on financial disputes. Nicki has maintained for considerable time that Jay-Z still owes her substantial compensation from the previous title agreement, allegedly ranging between $100 and $200 million. According to Nicki, since she began publicly discussing Roc Nation's questionable financial practices, she's experienced targeting both in her career and personal life. June 2023 brought an anonymous CPS report alleging mistreatment of Nicki's son. Officers subsequently descended on Nicki's residence while she and her child were present. Imagine the terror of that experience for her. Mere weeks following the CPS incident, someone contacted emergency services claiming a shooting had occurred at Nicki's address. Officers again arrived while Nicki was home with her son, but the harassment continued. Advancing to April 2025, another swatting incident unfolded. This occasion involved someone directly contacting the sheriff's business line, claiming a black woman had trespassed on Nicki's property. Once more, police surrounded Nicki's house, prepared to confront an armed individual based on a fabricated report. Nicki subsequently posted on X about this incident, stating that 20 officers with weapons drawn surrounded her home while she was inside with her toddler. That's when Nicki identified specific individuals, directly naming Jay-Z's right-hand executive and Roc Nation CEO, Desiree Perez. Desiree's background contains significant shadows, and most industry figures appear too intimidated to mention her publicly. Only a select few possess sufficient courage to address her role, including Dame Dash. Dame discussed Desiree during his Sway in the Morning interview, explaining that discovering Jay-Z had appointed a federal informant to lead his company fundamentally changed his understanding of Jay-Z's methods. Dame noted that numerous associates and partners, including Rockefeller co-founder Kareem Biggs Burke, faced serious federal complications. Jay-Z's subsequent decision to employ a federal informant struck Dame as deeply troubling.
This is the one time that the paper did scare me, and I was like, there has to be some truth to it, is when I read about his affiliation with, informants, that he's in business with certain people. And it's tricky for me to say, but just based on where I'm from, I can't have nothing to do with that. And then just based on...
Do you believe that though?
I don't know, it's paperwork.
Yeah.
So it's not to believe, you know what I'm saying? There's paperwork. So that part of it scares me because I know Biggs is in jail. I know Irv Gotti's been harassed for years over shit he didn't do. I know they've been fucking with me for years. So it just means I need to stay over here. You know what I'm saying? So I love Jay, but let's say I find out that any of that, I can't fuck with him at all because that's how I was raised. It ain't no disrespect. I don't know how anyone else was raised. That's it. It ain't nothing to talk about. And it's real serious for me because, your friend, my man's in jail for 3 years over weed. The feds is really on me. It's not like they not. And where I'm from, that is not tolerated at all.
Regarding Desiree's history, 1994 brought her arrest for possessing 35 kilograms of cocaine and conspiracy to distribute. Federal court documents obtained by the New York Daily News reveal she faced charges for participating in a distribution network spanning New York through Florida to Puerto Rico. Desiree operated with accomplices. Her husband, Juan O.G. Perez, allegedly participated in this operation, and Juan maintained a long-standing friendship with Jay-Z. Their connection formed during the mid-90s when they established the 40/40 Club together, and eventually Jay-Z appointed Juan as Roc Nation Sports president. You're likely curious about Desiree's fate after her arrest with substantial narcotics. She received only 5 years probation because she agreed to cooperate with the U.S. Attorney's Office, essentially becoming an informant, and Desiree embraced this role enthusiastically. She wore recording devices to assist federal agents in apprehending her former associates, performing so effectively that government officials labeled her their star mole. Advancing to 2021, this star mole received complete presidential pardon from Trump. Nicki actually highlighted this fact, arguing people demonstrate hypocrisy by attacking her while Jay-Z engages in similar behavior covertly. In July 2025, Nicki posted on X questioning the narrative. So your supposed black savior Jay-Z employs a Hispanic CEO who received a Trump pardon? Fascinating. Does this mean Desiree the informant isn't a Democrat? Black community, I thought Trump supporters were universally condemned by you. Did Jay-Z ever publicly support Kamala? Is he too important to advocate for his party, or perhaps it's not actually his party? Maybe it's exclusively about whoever can advance his and Desiree the informant's interests at any given moment? Black community, looks like the power couple and Desiree the informant have manipulated you again. But Nicki didn't conclude there. She explicitly accused Desiree Perez and Roc Nation of orchestrating those swatting incidents, asserting that Roc Nation insiders aimed to silence her and destroy her credibility, so her claims about their financial obligations will be dismissed. So both Nicki and Katt Williams get branded mentally unstable whenever they expose industry realities. Both have experienced repeated police targeting and false accusations. Is this merely coincidence? That determination belongs to you. But we can universally acknowledge that people who worship exclusively money and power are capable of anything. Share your perspective on all this in the comments section and stay connected for upcoming content.